What is going on, people? RFB, the Rammer, talking about some cool fights. It is the return of my guy. And, you know, when you think about it, you know, everybody, I think, in the world is hoping for an awesome BJ.
Everybody wants an
awesome BJ, but I think people would be satisfied with a pretty good BJ. Especially
most BJs are good BJs.
Exactly.
Like,
but
when's the last time you had a bad BJ?
Yeah.
Teeth? A motivated BJ.
A motivated BJ. When you think about this fight with BJ Penn, the former 55-pound champion, former 170-pound champion, and Dennis Siver. I know people look at BJ Penn's his last performance against Yair Rodriguez, and maybe the performance before that against Frankie Edgar. And they probably think, and then they look at his last, however many, 7, 8 fights, 1 win over Matt Hughes, like 6 losses, 1 draw. People are like, BJ Penn is a fucking bum.
Yeah. So
this is the best fight for BJ Penn. 38-year-old BJ Penn taking on the more experienced 38-year-old Dennis Siver.
Yes, this is the best fight you can make for BJ Penn right now. You know what just hit me? So I've been with you, and I've been on the same side as you, as people that we know less about fighting, have watched it less, have experienced it less, have not trained it, haven't dedicated themselves to it, will tell us, BJ's a bum. And give us examples.
I want to punch them in the face when they say that. I really do.
But what I was about to say is, has it ever occurred to you that just because of our like biased passion, maybe he is a bum?
No. He's worked with the best coaches and fighters and teammates and training partners in the world, and they all say that BJ Penn is amazing. These are the things that happen in fights. When you look at champions of the past, I mean, MMA is young, so we don't have, you know, a whole lot of history to rely on, but you can compare it to kickboxing and you can compare it to boxing. Once champions get past their prime, they start losing fights, and they realize, hopefully they realize, that the outcome doesn't matter. It's really irrelevant what the outcome is, that the fighters are going in there to do something. And for BJ Penn, he doesn't need to do this. He does not need to go and get inside of a cage to fight another man to be able to pay his mortgage. He does it for the love of combat and the love of something he has dedicated his entire life for.
You could take his name out of there and put somebody else in and be identical.
Yeah.
You just have the exact same thing. There's a 2-man crew right now of BJ Penn and Anderson Silva that basically match that exact thing. They are among the greatest ever, and that's the part that bothers me, is when somebody will deny that. You come from a period where wins and losses had no bearing on best ever, because that period was about skill, it was about the types of fights, it was about heart, it was about, I mean, this was not a time where anybody had a 20-0 record. This was a time where through trial and error they traveled through greatness.
Let's figure shit out.
Yeah, exactly. And there were times where Randy Couture had an unimpressive record, and he's put in that collection. And that's when it irritates you, when somebody's like, well, and I've always kind of had my minor troll career was always playing with Anderson Silva, and Fedor, who are among the greatest ever, and I will remember them as among the greatest ever, and gladly admit they are. And BJ's another one of these. So you want to say, BJ's old and he hasn't got it anymore? Fine. But don't denounce or undermine what he's done in his career. And I'm excited to see him fight. If I'm Dennis Siver, I go in and I just fight. You don't have to have a specific plan any more than BJ has to have a specific plan. By the time you're watching this, Vitor versus Marquardt may have already happened. Same exact scenario. You've got legends. You've got people who have been through there. You've got older guys facing each other at the right time. Siver is not a legend, but he's a legend in the area of Europe that he comes from. And I love this fight, and I'm really excited to see it. And it's bias, of course, and it's influenced by fandom, but we want to see BJ do well.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question. You know, you've been out of the fight game for a while. You haven't competed in a while. Let's just say you decide, you know what, you get an offer, somebody closer to your age, your experience level. You're just like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get back in the cage. Are you doing it to just go out and win? Or are you doing it to go and fucking punch somebody in the face and feel that feeling because, you know, one of the things, if it's just BJ trying to win fights, it feels like, let's just wrestle this guy. And we will absolutely drown him if the fight goes to the ground.
Yes.
Or is BJ, the BJ that I love, the BJ that I know, it's like, we're not going to the ground. I'm going to knock this fucking guy clean out.
Yeah, I think that's what he wants. I turned to friends in Buffalo, I think it was. Where was it where Pat retired? Was it Pat Cote? Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo.
Yeah, and I turned to friends when I saw him smile and just start having fun and throwing. I'm like, Pat's retiring tonight. Because none of that was about winning. That was about Pat feeling the joy of fighting. You could see it. It was clear as day to anyone that had ever fought or ever experienced the love of that. And I think that's what BJ will be looking for. And if he is, he's going to do fantastic. And it's going to be a joy to watch him do it. If he's trying to figure out how he can win so he can have another fight, so maybe he could win that, so he can get a chance to maybe get one more chance at, he's not going to do well. So he's going to do well if he goes out and loves it.
Because, you know, right now, there's money to be made in the sense that BJ loves to fight. This is what he does. It's like, BJ, let's just say you get 200 grand. It's like, well, I can do this a couple more times, even if I'm not in love with it.
But we just,
I know he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. But you know how our culture is.
Yeah.
Our culture is one of, it's like, yeah, but if you feel like doing it and you can do it and you can make a chunk of change, it's like, well, what else am I doing? I'm not running a store.
Yeah. At the time that we're recording this a week or two ahead because I'm off traveling. I'm going to New York, I'm going to LA, and I'm going to Montreal. And I'm going to spend a couple of 3-4 hour days with George St. Pierre. And I really want to know why he wants to do this. You know what? Why? Like, really, why? Not the give me the answer that you say that. George won't. We're friends, and he trusts me. But I want to know I want to look him in the eye and see why he wants to do this. And we hung out with George in Kingston, and when I asked him that, and when we were sitting with him, and that came up, he lit up a bit. He said, "You never felt more alive than this. You never felt more." And I, even when you said, if you got a chance, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, you're just so fucking alive in there.
Because you have to be present in the moment. You can't think of anything else.
Yeah, you're so alive, even alive with fear or joy or excitement and the best have the ability to be alive with the emotions and the feelings that they need and want to perform at their best. I did not. Most of us would not. Most of us, that takes a particular type of person with a particular type of upbringing and a particular kind of training to get to that point. And George didn't come by it naturally. BJ did. BJ was that guy. And hopefully he still is that guy. Dennis Siver loves to fight. Dennis Siver's that guy. Dennis Siver has lost fights that we've watched, but he always fucking showed up. And this is a perfect fight for both of these men. It's for Dennis Siver, it doesn't matter how many times BJ may lose in the last few years of his life. You beat BJ Penn, and forever, one of your fucking, a part of your life story is a win over BJ Penn. And if you're BJ Penn, this is the type of fight you go and you swagger your ass in there with all kinds of confidence and you throw down the way you want to for the love of it.
BJ Penn, the former 155-pound and 170-pound champion, trying another crack at 145 pounds when he takes on the always dangerous Dennis Siver.